I'm Lily.
And I'm Claire.
Mr. Cunning's going to be questioning us about this project.
All right, so what is the most meaningful work you have done this year and why?
In my opinion, the most meaningful work that we did was having a client and then having a product that we could give out to her. So we had one product that we already gave out to her and she loves it, and then we went a little more complicated and built her a whole nother project, which I thought was just crazy.
Yeah, and I can second that. I think just this project as a whole was very rewarding, and the fact that we're making her life just a little bit easier is pretty cool.
So making somebody's life easier is important
Yes.
for the work. Okay. In what ways have you found success in the class?
Communication.
Yeah, I think this class, it really it brings you out of your comfort zone, and you get to learn a lot about yourself in general. I feel like the way when you have to we communicated with probably almost every teacher in this school.
Which I think is cool. Like, we communicated with our CAD teacher, who has never been a part of this class, and we needed help with it, and he became so involved and got out of his classroom, and it was just awesome to see just the impact of asking questions, how much it impacts different teachers.
What have you learned about yourself during the year?
That we're a little crazy.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing I learned is I like to have control of everything in what I do, and I think I had to let Claire in a little bit, and I had to let everyone else in, when normally I just want to do it myself so I can get it done when I want it, and so I think what I learned about myself was basically just letting others help, if they want to help, let them help.
I think for myself, it was definitely being open to different ideas, because when I have an idea that I think is going to work, I will argue until I think I convince the other person. But if you step back and look at other people's ideas, it comes out and it's oh yeah, that's going to work better than mine.
Yeah.
Cool. So when you guys think about design thinking in that process of building empathy all the way to building prototypes, how are you doing in that process? How are you making progress in utilizing that process and learning inside of it?
Being okay to fail.
Yeah.
We started off with this little contraption, and that wasn't going to work. And then
Made no sense. I just crashed the entire thing.
Yeah, so failure is definitely key in this class. You're gonna fail, and that's okay. And you might fail at communication, or you might fail at not being social, but at the end, it comes out and you're
Wow.
yeah, okay,
and
that's what we just created? Cool.
Yeah, and I think that, to second that, I think just in general with back to the whole listening to other people's ideas. Me and Claire were pretty set on this little thing right here, and it made no sense. And we had to take a step back and say, oh, would she really be able to do that? Because we had to think not just about ourselves, but about our client. With it that way, it might have been easy for us, but not for her, and we just had to figure out what was best for her, not ourselves.
Definitely learning to take a step back and put yourself in someone else's
shoes, yeah.
that have different issues than you could even think of. Our client can only use one side of her body that's actually useful. So we one time put her hand behind her back, and it's okay, what can we do with this arm?
One hand, yeah.
Yeah, or it's just different things you have to step back and look at, which is I think kind of cool to do.
So what I think I hear you saying is that you've learned a lot about building empathy and understanding your client, and then also taking feedback and
Yes.
Yeah.
being able to reiterate or recreate an idea based on that empathy and the feedback and meshing them together. Cool. So when you think about all the work that you've done this year, is there an area that you've really felt like you've excelled in?
Honestly, I feel time management and like perseverance. Like we always knew like, oh, today we're doing this and this is gonna get done by the end of this class. Like, and we didn't let anyone stop that. Like if a teacher was like, oh, like yeah, we could get it done like by next week, it was no, we kind of need someone to do it like now.
Yeah.
And like we have a time limit here, and we weren't gonna like let anyone else really stop us. And now we're done.
I second that. Yeah, like we were always. I feel like we were always like girls that were like, okay, you can't do it, we'll find someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And if you can't do it, we'll try to do it ourselves. It might not turn out as well, but this is what we got. And I think that definitely put like me and Lily like just a little. We had a little more power. I felt like we had the power to be like, I'm not uncomfortable to walk into some random classroom that I don't know and be like, this is what I want, and I need you to make it. And they'll be like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know, figure it out.
Explain it to the best of our abilities, but when it comes to mechanical words and auto words, we're like, this thing.
We kind of like, I think that was pretty cool. Like, we did start learning, like, oh, so this needs to be in inches, not centimeters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Or this needs to be in a, like that, we created a basket, and it's tapered. So you can't just measure it straight down. You have to tapered measure it? Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so a learning process.
Yeah.
So I think I hear you guys saying that you figure out how to work with other people and
Yes.
persuade them and
Yes.
get what you needed.
Even if you don't like the other people, you still are like,
They can do what I can't.
yeah, I need you to do this, and even though you might not be my cup of tea, I need you to do this for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely going to help us in like real life, because there's people out there that you ain't going to like, but when you're like, I need this to be done and I don't know how to do it, you have to talk to them.
Yeah. Forces you to be social.
I think the other cool thing that I heard you guys say there is that you figured out a little bit about the real world and the industry, and understanding that measurement in America goes by inches,
Yes.
and how to measure correctly, and
Yes.
how to use the appropriate terms in the appropriate places to get what you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't just say thingamabob or
Yeah.
this
Something
and this
along.
needs to
Which
be
are
like
which
this.
is.
They don't really understand that. They're not, you're not going to dumb it down enough for us to understand.
So that was really the things you guys excelled at. How about the things that, as you think about into next year and college and moving on in life, what do you want to continue to think about as a growth area?
I think like in college, and you know, like my mom always says, like, oh, you're gonna have some professors that you're not gonna be able to understand, you're not gonna like, but you, like, they're just like Claire was saying, you have to get, like, you have them for a class, like you have to figure it out, and like get just being to work through it and not like give up, and you know, I do this when you have to like just keep on pushing and keep on going, and you know, like the end result is always hopefully gonna be good, you know, and in this case it was.
Yeah.
But
Mine is that being okay to fail. I was never good at being okay to fail. Like, sure, in a math class, I was never good at math, but in this class, I wasn't okay at failing, because this is what I want to do. And so when it came to failing, I would get really frustrated, and I would get mad, and I'd be like, well, what are we doing wrong? And and I realized, like, now, like, I need to just take a step back and breathe and be like, okay, I can figure this out. We got this. And I think that's, yeah, I think that's definitely going to help me in the long run, because I would get, like, so mad, and, like, I'd go home and even, like, think about it and, like, okay, what can I do? And it would, like, drag on me. And now I just realize, like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
There's no need, like, there's no need for frustration. Like, you just have to step back, take a second, and figure out a different route.
yeah.
Those are cool growth areas. What is the one, capital letters, one thing you are most proud of?
Okay, mine is from coming from this, which was supposed to just hold cups, to creating this, which now cleans all her dishes, and she only can use one hand, and that, which will clean her walls. That is my one, like, watching it come from styrofoam and wood to an actual, like, I'm going to send this home with her and she's going to use it, was my one, like, wow. Like, you step back and you're like, wow, we did that? We're actually helping out people? That's cool.
And I second that. I think like one of, just like the biggest accomplishment throughout the year was one, finishing the entire thing, because with coronavirus we had all these pauses and all of this stuff that kept pushing us back, but we still finished it, where I know like some projects will have to get moved on to like next year's, but we have like, me and Claire, we were like, we are going to help her, and we did it. And so I think that is one of the biggest things that I'm just so like so proud of us and like myself and just everyone that helped out, just because I think it started off as literally cardboard and plastic tape and now it's like something like electrical and it moves and you know it's gonna go in her home.
Yeah,
she's gonna use it daily.
That's definitely like the coolest part, is watching me make these out of plastic and it coming out and being this like real life thing.
And you never think at the beginning of the year like, oh wow, this is really gonna turn into something. You know, like wow, what is that even gonna be?
Yeah,
but it did for sure.
So I want you to think back about the moment you were in the dark pit of despair. Like, the project's never going to go. I quit. We can't even go to school. Explain how that felt when you were the most stuck.
So actually, like, my worst part of this class was I was trying to learn CAD. And everybody else was learning CAD perfectly fine. And CAD is like a computer system, and you can build 3D models on it. Everybody else was learning CAD perfectly fine, and I couldn't figure it out. And we have like this piece of like a chart, and it's like a, I don't know, like a bowl. And I put myself at the lowest of the low. I have like bones next to my name.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, like after working and figuring it out, like I finally understood it. And even though it's not part of this project, I was so mad at myself that everybody else was moving past, and I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I couldn't build a box. Like, the box was the hardest part. And after like I actually started figuring it out, I could help other people, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, I got myself out of rock bottom. Like, one day I cried in class because I couldn't figure it out.
I think the hardest part for this project for me was Claire got COVID and wasn't here for like 2 weeks.
Oh,
and so I had to do not everything by myself, obviously, but I had to do some things by myself. And I was like, okay. And I had to we had to FaceTime and all this kind of stuff. And I had to go to other teachers because some things, maybe Claire knows how to talk to like the welding people and the mechanic. And I'm like, who even are you? So I had to like just kind of put myself a little more, I mean, I'm pretty out there, but I had to like push myself to do things. I had to put myself, I say, what would Claire do in this situation?
Open the door.
You know, as myself. And it was just, that was pretty hard, you know, because she wasn't here to physically like show me something or physically explain something to me. And she could always try over the phone, but I'm like, okay, that does nothing. Like, you know.
Yeah, Lily was out for a few days, and that's when our client was coming in, and I was like, and I just got back from COVID, and I was like,
and then I was gone.
I'm seeing this for the first time. Lily? She was on FaceTime. I was like, I know the basics, but I didn't know any of it. Yeah. So I was kind of like starstruck a little. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I was some stressful moments.
Yes, that was definitely stressful.
I think you guys have hit this next question a little bit already, and so it could be short or long, whatever. But what are the most important things you learned in BTE this year, and why?
Like I said, communication, and I was just thinking about this, like respecting other people's classrooms and space. So like, you might become friends. Like I became friends with Bolt House and another teacher down there, and so like I can walk in there and I can crack jokes or whatever. But sometimes you walk into like me and Lily walked into our CAD teachers, and the room's silent. So you walk in there and you have to be a little more respectful.
We're pretty loud.
Yeah.
So
So
that's kinda,
so you have to, like, I think one thing is you have to understand, like, when you get in here, you have to understand the atmosphere of everybody's classroom, and you have to go with everybody's atmosphere, because you don't want to be like that one kid that everybody dreads on coming in. So
and I think, like, for me, it was like perseverance. Just keep on trucking, because we had so many setbacks, and I think that the fact that we just got it done, honestly, was a huge thing that we learned, and just keep on going.
yeah, that was.
There's multiple times we were like, nope, screw this, we're not
doing
it's
it.
over. Like,
Yeah. Or a few days we're just like, do we have to try to figure this out today? Are you sure we can't do it tomorrow?
Yeah.
We both look at each other, no, we gotta do it today.
Yeah.
So I think I heard Lily say that,
One second.
totally lost my thought. Lily said what?
Perseverance.
Perseverance, thank you. And working through those and keeping your head down and just keep rolling. And I think I heard Claire say that, that communication skills and being able to read an environment and adapt quickly based on who you're with.
Analyze.
You know, you don't want to bring a sledgehammer to put a finish nail in drywall.
Yeah.
Kind of an idea. You got to have the right tool for the right job,
Yeah.
including your approach to things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. What is the one thing that you're going to miss about this work?
Just probably, oh my god, probably just like collaboration with everyone. I love to talk, and I think, like, I love working with everyone and just like meeting all the new people. Like, in this class, we have like a group with like a special bond. And it's like, it's so sad that we're not going to see them again for like a long time after we graduate.
Yeah.
We're all going separate ways, and so
Yeah.
I think just being able to collaborate and work with others.
I'm gonna second that. Mine's gonna be like, not even like, yeah, I'm gonna miss the school, but I'm gonna miss this room. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of fun I've had in this room, and I'm gonna miss Miss Van Til and Mr. Cunnin and Mr. Feebig. I mean, like, that's gonna be something this classroom has changed my life.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
definitely
100%.
walking in here, I never thought I would become friends with a mechanic. Or
With
a CAD
the
guy.
CAD dude, yeah.
Yeah, like you
Like-
walk in here and you're like, okay, I'm a health student. How am I gonna understand what they're talking about? Then you sit down and talk to them, and you're cracking jokes, and
Like,
it's like,
literally today, after this video, me and Claire are going to learn how to weld. Like, that's the thing, you know? Like,
yeah,
in like a week and a half, that's over. It's all gone. Like,
Yeah.
It's just so sad.
it's sad. It's definitely something
Definitely the big impact this place has made on us.
that I'd say this class, or just this building, has made a bigger impact than my normal school.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
because of
100%,
the
100%.
people and the care that everybody brings, and like, even though like I love everybody in the morning and I'm a morning person, but not a lot of people like that I'm a morning person, but I like how you walk in and everybody's like, good morning. I mean,
So
it's like
positive.
it's like a welcoming environment, and I'm like, good morning. I'm very loud, so it definitely, like, hearing those people talk is definitely a great
Cool thing.
experience.
Yes.
Cool.
That's it?
That's
Yeah.
it. Go learn how to weld.
Okay.
Yay.